If you want to laugh and have some fun, this is the podcast. This is the one. Lights, camera, action, on your mark, set, go. Welcome everyone to the Suezie Show. Welcome everyone to the Suezie Show.
Welcome to the Suezie Show. Welcome everybody. I got a special guest with me. I think you're really going to enjoy this one. This is my homeboy, my brother from another mother, my nephew, my boy Rick Jones. It's up to you if I just say Ricky or Rick Jones.
I don't care. I'm Rick Jones, bitch.
Oh my God.
I got my first job on the books the day after I turned 16.
I lied about my first job. I got a job at a fast food place and I lied about my age. I was 15.
Nice.
But I wanted to get some money, so I lied that I said I was 16. And it was before they could check everything with the internet. Now you can't get away with the shit that I got away with as a kid now.
Nope.
No way. First of all, every home pretty much has a camera. Pretty much if you don't have a doorbell camera, don't worry, because your neighbor and your neighbor's neighbor and your neighbor's neighbor's neighbor has cameras.
We're not allowed to have them here. They say it's an invasion of privacy.
It's not an invasion of privacy at all.
That's what the landlord says.
Yeah, well, the landlord's crooked if he says that. First of all, that's illegal. They can't tell you that you cannot have a doorbell camera. I could see that they don't want you to drill a hole, but if you wanted to place a camera right on that, if you wanted to, you don't have a window there, but if you wanted to put a camera on that or in that front window, he can't do anything to you. You could put up a little sign that says warning, security camera in use. He can't say that. I mean, you see things that warning cameras in use private property.
Yeah, I know. Well, you saw them. I had them all over my last apartment.
Yeah, but that just seems pretty crooked. Why wouldn't you want people to have a camera?
I'll show you the paperwork later. It's all inside.
I believe you. Maybe something happened in the past with it. Maybe somebody was pointing their camera at their neighbor doing stupid instead of actually being honest and just for security. Maybe they were doing creepy
voyeurism,
shit.
I believe, is the term for that.
No, voyeurism. That's not voyeurism.
I'm pretty sure.
No.
Yeah, that's when you take videos or pictures and with some kind of explicit intent for them. Having a computer in your pocket is awesome.
I know. Voyeurism. I spelled it with a V, and that's the practice of gaining sexual pleasure from watching others when they are naked or engage in sexual activity. That's voyeurism with a V.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
No. That's wrong with a V or a F. You mean with an F.
Voyeurism.
No.
It's part of the laws for the cameras in CT. That you're not allowed to take pictures and videos of stuff of people with that intent.
No.
That's what I was talking about.
The meaning of voyeurism is the activity of getting sexual pleasure from watching other people get sexual situations, or more generally from watching other people's private lives. Voyeurism is like if we were sitting here recording someone else's private life. That's voyeurism. Can I tell you a random thing?
Yeah.
Okay. What was it? Oh, on Alice in Wonderland. The cartoon, okay? The old Disney 1950s something Alice in Wonderland movie, okay? When she shows up at the tea party and the Mad Hatter's there, the little mouse is there. Who's the Mad Hatter's homeboy? Oh,
I don't know.
The other, there's a couple people. He's a big rabbit. He's a rabbit, not the white rabbit that she was following. But the Mad Hare is with the Mad Hatter at the tea party. And they even asked this question in the movie with Johnny Depp. And he kept asking her this question. Why is a raven like a writing desk? Do you remember in that movie?
No.
He kept asking her. And it became a serious, in the movie of the live action with Johnny Depp. And the question became, he asked it once and twice. And a different time he asked it, it was like this really heartfelt moment where he seems like he's really looking for an answer and she doesn't have one for him. They gave the answer in the cartoon. I looked it up yesterday. It blew my mind. In the cartoon, the Mad Hatter asks Alice, when they're getting ready to serve her tea, why is a raven like a writing desk? And she says, oh, a riddle. Why is a raven like a writing desk? And the Mad Hatter says, what? And the rabbit jumps over to the Mad Hatter and wraps his arms around the Mad Hatter and goes, she's stark raven mad. That's the answer. Why is a raven like a writing desk? Because if you look up what a raven is, a long time ago, it was a high-end writing desks. So that's why a raven, that you think of a bird, everybody thinks of the bird. Why is a raven like a writing desk? Everybody pictures the raven, the bird. Caw, caw. A raven is a writing desk. And when they say she's stark raven mad, that's because he says to her, what'd you say? And she says to him, why is a raven like a writing desk? Like, she says it a little bit snotty because he just said it to her and she says it to herself like, oh, a riddle. Why is a raven like a writing desk? And what did you just say? What did she say? And like, they set her up to make her go, why is a raven like a writing desk? And they're like, oh, she's stark raven mad. And it's like they made her get a little angry so that they could say that to her to make the joke. So the question is actually a joke to set you up so that when somebody says, what did you say? You know, the other person, if they say it back. So why is a raven like a writing desk? The answer is, you're stark raven mad.
Why is the Mad Hatter mad?
He's mad because he lost his family and shit went crazy when the queen messed them up. She came into their village and attacked the family and all that.
Okay.
He was like that's what they showed in the movie, in the real live movie. When he was a little kid, they showed him as a normal kid. All his family was
Do you know where the
hatters.
term Mad Hatter came from?
No.
Okay, so it's a real thing, the Mad Hatter. So way back when, they used really bad chemicals and stuff while they were making the hats.
Yes.
And they would go crazy, and
From
they would
being
become mad.
Yep.
And it was all the Hatters, so it became a term, a Mad Hatter. That's the Mad Hatter.
And that was probably like the glue or something inside the...
Something, one of the chemicals or all the chemicals,
Sunk right into their brain.
it made them go crazy, and they went mad. That's where the term Mad Hatter came from.
Wow.
Because they really were crazy.
Oh my God.
You know?
And you know, you got to start looking at some of the hats and how they evolved through the years. Like, they went from normal hats to feathers to all different. That's true. Now we kind of mentioned it and touched on it. Marijuana is legal in the state that we live in. Now, I'm wondering about, because you literally can go into the corner stops and buy vape pens and all that's not a big deal anymore. It's just not a big deal. Nobody cares. But here's the thing, if you go for a job and they drug test, I don't feel like they should be allowed to test for marijuana if you could go to a corner stop, because it stays in your system for like a month.
Where they're testing for the marijuana, there's federal regulations, and it's not legal federally. So if your job falls under one of those jobs that has those regulations, you still have to go by those regulations.
But is that going to be, you think, more of a government job, or like
Well, that's,
anywhere?
you know, anything dangerous, like where you're operating heavy machinery or doing stuff like that. There's all federal regulations for that stuff.
Oh, I didn't know they were federally regulated.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, if I ever have a few drinks of wine or something, try to get me to say federally regulated.
Mm-hmm.
See how that comes out. No, I don't think that's a. And here's another one. Since if it's become even not federally, but if it is somewhat legal in your state, do you feel like, I feel like anyone who's in prison right now for having it on them or selling it and it's just weed, I think they should be let free. I think there's many more worse criminals that's doing much horrible things than something that, you know, they should go back to court and be like, okay, I had weed on me, a year and a half ago. It's been legal for 3 years, and you could literally go to a corner stop and buy it. Can I please get the hell out of here now? Like, what the, you know? You're gonna charge me for something that nobody cares anymore about, but yeah, I'm still here. I would think that they would let anybody who's at least give them a chance to have their day in court now that it's legal, or not even court, because that's a waste of money too. That's taxpayers' money, dollar, everything else.
I'm pretty sure there's paperwork you could file to get all your stuff expunged now, depending on what kind of crime it was.
Yeah, because in the state we're in, I think we could have up to, I think it's quarter ounce or no, half an ounce or something. It's a good amount, or maybe more. I forget what it was, but it was a good amount that it wouldn't even be a ticket. Literally wouldn't even be a ticket.
Yeah, you're allowed to have so much on your person. It's like an ounce or something like that, half
and it
ounce.
wouldn't even be a ticket.
And then you're also allowed to have in your house or your vehicle, inside of a locked box or your glove compartment where it locks, you can have up to a quarter pound. But that, when you have that much, it has to be locked up.
Yeah.
You're also allowed to have 4 mature plants and 4 immature plants per person in the household, up to a total of 12 plants.
That's why I'm like, I wonder how many people are actually in prison or not getting a job only because of pot. That is ridiculous to me. It really is. That don't make no sense.
I'd rather be told no for a job because of weed than when I was being told no because I wasn't vaccinated for that COVID thing. That was ridiculous.
Where'd you try to go? I can't find me.
It was right after I left the biofuels place. I was trying to get another job, and I was applying to different oil pipelines and things like that. But that was right when the pandemic's going on and the vaccine had just come out, and I kept getting turned down for all these good jobs because I didn't have my vaccine. And I just ended up, doing whatever. I was doing sheetrock in houses and all kinds of different things.
Problem I had with myself personally with the mandatory vaccination that they were doing to people, I get it. I know it was an epidemic, a pandemic, not even an epidemic, a pandemic, meaning worldwide. That's the difference. And I get it. I too many people passed away from that. I'm thankful that we're all okay at the other end of that. And I understand vaccines. The medicine is there to help us from getting sicker, from dying. I understand that. However, most vaccinations have been studied and tested for at least a decade, okay? This thing was like pumped out like a crappy radio from 1976, and they were like, here, put this in, it'll work, we think. All I was thinking is, I'm gonna see what happens to everybody who got this vaccination in about 3 to 4 years from now. Let's see how they're, maybe more. But I guarantee I'm gonna see some kind of side effect from this, because they just, in a panic, pumped out all this vaccination for millions of people to shove into, and you were being no choice. Put this medicine that was not researched long enough in you, and let's hope for the best, because we think it'll work right now. 2 years from now we might find out something different, but you can't have this job unless you do this. It was like a conformity, big time.
And you had the places they wouldn't let you go inside and get food. You couldn't do all kinds of stuff in some states.
You had to have your card.
Yeah, I remember one of my friends went out to California, and he couldn't do hardly anything in California. He couldn't even go get fast food.
Really?
Yep.
Oh my God. They were harsh in New York too. You couldn't go inside restaurants. I forgot about that. You couldn't go in restaurants. You couldn't go in anywhere unless you showed your vaccination card.
Yep.
Yeah. And again, I understand the vaccination. I understand it's going to help prevent disease from spreading even further or worse or whatever. I understand that. But if I don't feel comfortable, like it really wasn't researched, this is kind of being put out in haste because of what's happening, it makes me real uneasy. I'd rather just keep my hand sanitizer, keep my face covered, and do what I needed to do. Just in case you all hear some cars or dogs barking or any kind of outdoor activity, that's because we're actually recording this episode outside, because it is a beautiful day. It's like 71, 72,
something like that. Yeah,
absolutely gorgeous, perfectly blue sky, like it's gorgeous out.
Got the nice breeze coming from the beach across the street.
Yeah Oh yeah, we're right across the street from the ocean, so we got to be outside. So if you hear any cars going by, and again, outdoor kind of activity, people, dogs, whatever, just be in the moment with us. Be here with us.
Nice.
Yeah.
Back to the COVID vaccination thing.
Okay.
I was at work this week. I don't remember if it was Wednesday or Thursday. Talking to a guy in the shop. He walks out of the shop. A couple hours later, somebody comes into my bay of the shop asking me if this guy fell down and hit his head. And I'm like, what do you mean? He was like, well, he's all messed up. He went to the hospital.
Oh, no.
Come to find out, he had a stroke.
Oh, no.
And he did fall down and hit his head right outside of my bay, though, not inside. He walked out I talked to him. He walked out of the bay and then fell down on the ground and had a stroke. And I didn't even know what happened.
Is he okay?
I haven't really heard anything from him. I reached out to him. I never got a response.
Yeah.
I'm not going to pressure somebody. I've known the guy a couple months. I was like, I hope you're all right, man. Let me know if you need anything.
Yeah,
blah, blah,
just
blah.
leave it there. Yeah.
It was... I meant it. It wasn't like just a fake reach out thing.
No.
But one of the questions that he was asked in the hospital while he was there, once he started coming back to, was if he had received the COVID vaccination. Well, why do you want to know that?
Really?
And the he's young, not young, but he's my age.
Some people might say, well, they need to know all the different vaccinations that you had. No bullshit. They need to know the shit that's going on inside your body. What kind of foreign shit did you put in there that's doing different things. That's why you need to know.
Yeah.
That's why you need to know, because it's foreign substances, regardless of how good it's supposed to be for us. They are foreign substances that we're putting in our body. And why did they want to know? You ever notice you watch these commercials online or on TV?
The side effects are worse than what they're trying to fix.
Well, not even that. They'll say, oh, okay, if you have this problem, take this medicine. These are the side effects. However, let us know if you had a vaccination in the past year. And I'm like,
I haven't heard that yet.
I hear it. They say it. They'll say it on the commercials, and let your doctor know if you've had a vaccination in the past year. And I'm like, why does that medicine have anything to do with whether you had a vaccination or not? It's the same kind of idea. Why did they want to know if he had a vaccination? What does it have anything to do with this guy having a stroke?
Yeah. They didn't ask about any other vaccinations. It was just the COVID one they asked about. But I don't know. I don't know why. That just caught me off guard, and I figured the conversation we were having that fit to be said.
Big time. Big time. That's a whole nother ball of worms.
Yeah.
Wax of balls. I'm saying it all wrong, but you know what I'm trying to say. Exactly. And I hope I'm wrong. And I mean, I know that might be conspiracy theory. I don't think that they put digital chips into all of them. First of all, it would cost way too much money that we don't have, and we do not have that kind of thing. And if they really want to track what we're doing, or they would just track our phone.
We all have exactly. Right. We all have cell phones.
Someone that we know actually said that to me when the corona was really going down.
Yeah.
This person actually truly believed that they put microchips in the vaccinations, and I didn't argue because I didn't have the energy for the level of stupidity that was. Take like 2 minutes off of social media and utilize the information that you have at your fingertips. You have all the information of the world at your fingertips. Look up the smallest microchip. It would have to be a nanobot. That would cost billions of dollars to. If they want to track us, they'll do it through our phone. They'll really know what we had for dinner, how we're feeling. You want to know everything about us? Go on social media. You don't even have to track our phones. Just track us on social media. You'll know everything.
Oh, Susie, it was about 15 years ago, something like that. I had a dream. And in my dream, I was in this big office setting thing. It was almost like, they show in the NASA how they got all those computers lined up with a big screen monitor in front and everything.
Yeah.
And I'm in that, like, I'm one of the people that's working, and then it looks up to the screen, and the screen is what's playing out of my cell phone. And then in the dream, I like morphed through the screen and came out of the phone and into my body, and was in my body in the room where I was, that whoever was watching me through my phone was watching. And then I woke up. It was really weird.
Wow.
I don't think people are watching me through my phone. It was just a dream.
Yeah. Oh my God, dude. Yeah, that whole thing was bananas. It really was. I'm glad we're at the other end where people are walking around again. We see people outside. There's cars driving by. When that was happening, there was no cars. I have a picture of New York City. I was in New York during the heat of it, and I have that picture. And there is not one human being on the streets all the way down. Not one it was it was like a bad dream, literally like a scary bad dream. I have the picture. I think I put it on Facebook, and I was just like, creepiest vibe ever. Can't wait to get out. I'm like, this is not New York.
I was an essential worker, so I never stopped.
Me too.
And the roads were completely empty.
Yeah, I know.
I remember driving, across the state for the factory I was working at the time. And my commute was nothing.
Well, I did notice this because I was essential too, and the people who were on the road were nuts.
Oh,
because there was nobody on the road.
Oh, yeah.
It was a free. If there was 10 cars on the road, trust me when I tell you, you better watch out for number 7, 8, 9, and 10.
At the time where I was living, my landlord was a cop, and he told me that nobody's getting pulled over right now because we were told not to pull anybody over.
Oh, yeah, you
because
told
we
me
can't
that.
afford to have the police get COVID and get sick.
Right.
So they were only stopping people that were doing crazy stuff.
And the roads were nuts.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how it was in California? Like, I'm just saying, we're on the East Coast. Can you imagine with the West Coast? Because, I mean, we got some crazies in New York, but we're not quite in New York. I mean, we get some crazy drivers here, but as far as I hear, California's not. I can imagine they were probably close to what New York and what up here was. The few people that were on the road were like, "Yeehaw, bitches!" Yeah. You didn't even really have to look. Like when you went over the bridge, you just kind of across all 4 lanes, no problem.
I would see maybe 8 or 9 cars on the road in a 45-minute commute.
Right.
I'm going through downtown of many cities, and there's nobody.
Not one person, not any cars, no stores. It was creepy. Wasn't it creepy? Like,
yeah.
Really, it felt like you were in a dream and there's no people. It was not a good feel. It wasn't a good look.
I will say, once I got into the sticks area of the state, people were outside.
Yeah.
People were going to the gas stations and going to the stores.
Yep.
But once you would go into the metropolitan areas,
right, it was
dead.
Dead. Yep.
But out in the sticks, where you get the more country folk,
right,
they just kind of went on with their life.
Right. They just stuck to each other, their own kin.
Yeah.
And just did what they needed to do. Oh, real quick. There was no toilet paper to be found, people. If you wanted toilet paper or
Do you
tampons,
remember me calling everybody saying that there was going to be a toilet paper shortage to get toilet paper?
Yeah.
That it was coming?
Yeah.
And nobody believed me. I went out and I bought a bunch because I saw it was happening over in, I think it was Australia it started in. They were fighting and people were getting stabbed in Australia over toilet paper. And I said, oh no, that's going to come here too. I went out and I bought a bunch of toilet paper. We had toilet paper for, it was like 8 or 9 months. I didn't have to buy it.
I'm by myself, so I think when that was happening, I still had like a 24 pack.
No.
Actually, I did have to go after it was real bad, crazy.
No.
I still had some, but then it was like a couple months and it was still going on, but it was a couple months after it started, so the craziness of it wore down.
I couldn't get baby wipes for my kids. I couldn't get anything.
No, tampons,
nothing.
Panty liners, pads, toilet paper, tissues for your nose, for your face, all paper product. And here's the sad part. There was literally no reason for it. This country was in a panic as a whole. I'm not saying I was in a panic. I'm not saying you were in a panic. But the country, as you can see, was in a panic. And look what can happen from getting in your own head, believing something that isn't true, freaking out about something that didn't happen. You self-prophesy. These people, the whole country made that happen because there was no reason. You know why? Because all the shipping stopped. When all the shipping stopped, that's when the oceans and the rivers in Italy, all that stuff turned
clear.
Bright blue and
yeah.
blue. And I will find pictures and put imagery for this, what I'm talking about, because that's worth to put before and after the show.
Absolutely.
For people who have never, and will never experience it. And they won't look something like that up because they're in whatever they're living in 5-7 years from now when they're 15. They're not going to look into the pandemic in 2020. But if they happen to come across this and they look, they'll say, oh my God, look at the difference of the water before and after. And everything was clean. And the country talked themselves into everything we have in America comes from China, which is not true. We have many factories still in this country. We should have more like we used to in the 50s, but I'm not going to go there. That's for another podcast. But we still have factories here. And most of our paper products actually come, I want to say it was from Texas.
Okay.
Texas or Tennessee, one of the two, that most of our paper products on this coast comes, probably Tennessee because that's on this coast. Texas is the other side. But most of our paper products come from here. Charmin, all that Great Value, all of it. It comes from right here. It doesn't get shipped. But because the whole country believed, oh no, all of the stuff that gets shipped over, we're not going to get. We better stock up on toilet paper. And people like this one right here, who just admitted that he went there and stocked up for 8 months with the toilet paper. So because he was worried, because you were worried that something was going to happen that didn't happen yet.
But it did end up happening. And that's what
everybody did. They all said, let me do this before it happens. That's just like Tomorrowland or Tomorrow World, whatever the idea of that movie. If you believe a self-fulfilled prophecy that this is going to happen, then every step in your life is going to build you to that to happen. You know what I mean? But if you say, no, that's not going to happen, then nobody's going to run out and buy 3 packages of 24 rolls. They're going to say, what am I going to do that for? We get our toilet paper a 12-hour drive away. It's not coming from China. And nobody realized it until it was like 6, 7, about what? What would you say? How long did that really go? About 4 or 5 months?
I remember we had toilet paper for a good 7, 8 months, and then that's when I had to start buying it again. And when I went to go buy it again, I still couldn't find. The only person that had it sometimes was Ricky.
Ricky who?
At the store.
Oh, Quarter Stop. Okay, yeah. Well, let's end it with a high note.
Moral of the story, if you need toilet paper, go to the porta potties.
And on that note right there, I will thank you for being on, and we'll see you next time on the Suezie Show. See you next time on the Suezie Show.
Yeah. Thanks for listening and hanging out. I'll see you next time, without a doubt. Now you know where I am and you know where to go. See you next time on the Suezie Show. See you next time on the Suezie Show.